characters. Juicy murder in Act 1. Unexpected developments in Act 2. Good dialogue, sound construction, highly commercial.
Well, that's wonderful, darling.
Wonderful? What's so wonderful about it?
Well, it's yours. Isn't it the idea you had last August?
The idea I had in August went the same way as the idea I had in July. In the fireplace, up the chimney, out over Fairfield County. Pollution in its most grisly form. This arrived in the mail today. The property of one Clifford Anderson. He was one of the clerks of the seminar I gave last summer. Dear Mr. Burrow, I hope you don't mind my sending you my play Death Trap, which I finished retyping at 2 o'clock this morning. Since I couldn't have written it without the inspiration of your own work and the guidance and encouragement you gave me last summer, I thought it only fitting that you should be the first person to read it. If you find it 1/10 as good as any of your own works, I'll consider my time well spent, and the fee for the seminar more than adequately recompensed.
Well, that's nice.
Not nice, it's false. Please excuse the carbon copy. The local Xerox machine is on the fritz, and I couldn't stand the thought of waiting a few days to send my firstborn child off to its spiritual father. My italics, but here's a mess. I hope that you call or write as soon as you've read it and let me know whether you think it's worthy of submitting to the son of a bitch. He even types well. Anderson. I remember him. He was that enormously obese one, 400 pounds at least. Sat in the front of the room. Where did we get our address?
From the university.
Probably.
Is it really that good, his first play?
Huh. A gifted director couldn't ruin it. The stock rights and amateur rights will feed and grow generations of Andersons. Can easily be opened for a movie. George C. Scott, Liv Ullman.
And Trish Vanderveer.
There's a part for her, too. The damn thing's nearly perfect.
I should think you'd be happy one of your students has written a salable play.
Well, darling, for the first time in 11 years, dropped dead.
My goodness.
You know, I've got a mind to use this mace over here and beat him over the head with it, drop him off into a hole somewhere, and send the thing out under my own name to David Merrick or Hal Prince. That's the best idea I've had in ages.
Oh, my poor Sidney.
I mean, what's the use in owning a mace if you don't use it now and again?
Well, you'll get an idea of your own anything now, and it'll be a better play than that one.
I wouldn't bet on it, dear. Not that you have any money left to bet with.
We're doing very nicely in that department. Not one creditor beating down the door.
Well, for how long? I've just about cleaned you out, haven't I?
We've cleaned me out, and it's been joy and delight every step of the way. Your next play will just have to be a terrific smash.
Oh, thanks for an easing of the pressure.
Why don't you call it to Merrick's attention? Maybe you could get a commission of some kind.
A finder's fee?
If that's what it's called.
Oh, great and glorious. 1%, maybe 1.5%.
Or better yet, why don't you produce it yourself? You've been involved in enough productions to know how it's done, and it might be a beneficial change of pace.
Darling, I may be corrupt and underhanded enough to write about committing murder, but not, I think, to produce a Broadway play. One doesn't overestimate one's talents.
Collaborate with him. Isn't there room for improvement in the play as good as it is? Give it the professional touch, a little reshaping and sharpening.
That's a possibility. We split 50-50.
And you get top billing.
Naturally. Reverse alphabetical order. It's done all the time.
On the basis of who you are.
Huh. Sidney Fourflop's rule.
Sidney, author of the Murder Game rule.
No, I remember the murder game. Back in the time of King Arthur, wasn't it?
Not quite that long ago.
18 years, my love. 18 years. Each one passing faster than the one before. You know, nothing recedes like success. Hey, that's a good line. I think there's a has-been actor who could use it somewhere. Recedes, that's E-D-E, right?
Yes, you see, you would improve it.
Give it the inimitable Sidney Brawl flavor. Close in Boston.
Why don't you call him? Where does he live?
He lives up in Milford. Anderson. No, the fat one was called Quincy.
And I don't like the mace. Next thing you know, blood on the carpet, and then Helga Tendorf will be picking up the psychic vibrations.
Up in Holland? I doubt that very much.
Sydney, what were you smoking on Friday when the rest of us were smoking grass? She's taken the McBain cottage for 6 months. Paul Wyman's doing a book with her. He was impersonating her for 15 minutes.
I thought he was finally coming out of the closet.
Fine murderer you'd make, Helga Tendorf, moves in practically on your doorstep, and you manage not to hear about it.
It does give one pause.
It certainly should. Nan and Tom Wesson had her to dinner last week, and she told Tom about his backaches and the money he put into silver and his father's thing for tall women. She warned Nan about their au pair girl leaving, and she did, 2 days later. She even found a set of keys Nan lost in 1969. They were under the clothes dryer.
She's in the McBain cottage?
Right over yonder, picking up our blips on her radar this moment, most likely.
Well, it seems Mr. Anderson will have himself a collaborator, but not that I believe in that ESP stuff.
The police in Europe seem to. That's half of why she's here. She's supposed to be resting from pointing at murderers.
No, you know, Anderson he didn't stay the whole week, and his name was Quincy, I'm sure.
Easy way to find out.
I'll give him a call. Could be a 3-hour conversation if he's the stammerer. Busy, probably talking to Merrick.
Sydney, would you actually kill someone to have another successful play?
Darling, don't be foolish. Of course I would. Spoken to just, Miss Tendor.
Mrs. She's divorced.
No wonder. Who could stay married to a woman with ESP? Well, don't fix me with that basilic stare, whatever basilic happens to be. I mean, wouldn't you like to go to Sardi's again, comfortable in the knowledge that we're not going to be seated by the kitchen? Do you know what this play is worth in today's markets? $2 million at least. And that's before the T-shirt rights. If that isn't a reason to kill somebody, I don't know what is. I wish you hadn't told me about her. Here we go. Hello? Hello, is this Clifford Anderson? Sidney Brule. Why, yes. As a matter of fact, I did. I finished it about 15 minutes ago. It's an enormously promising work. I was just telling my wife, Myra, over here, that if you shape it up a little bit and point it up in the right places, you'd have the makings of a hit. It'd be right up there with Steve, the murder game. I know that feeling very well. When I wrote Murder Game, I thought it was all ready for production too, but I handed it over to somebody who knew a lot more about the theater than I did. And he improved it tremendously, I don't mind saying. George S. Kaufman, as a matter of fact. No, he didn't want credit on, he owed people some money and he didn't want them to know that they were getting royalties. But look, I could be very wrong about this. What do others say? No one? No one at all. Oh, I see. Alone? All by yourself? And you don't have to do anything but water the plant? Oh, I see. Well, I'm free tonight. Why don't you come over and take the train? It's not that. It's only 2 stops. I'll go to the station. I'll pick you up in the car and run you over. Okay, you check it out. Okay, hold on. He's unmarried. He's house sitting for a couple in Europe. No one's read the play. No one even knows it exists.
You think he'll be open to the idea of collaborating?
Yeah, maybe. Hey, was Kaufman alive when I wrote Murder Game? Hello? It's too early. When's the next one? Too late. Make it the 7:39 then. That'll be fine. And wait for me at the Westport station. And Clifford, would you please bring over the original and any other copies you have? Great, 7:39. And listen, I may be a few minutes late. I have some errands to do. Okay, bye. Well, he's not the Stanmore. And I think he might be open to the idea of collaborating.
What errands do you have to run?
Didn't you say something about the library, dropping books off, picking them up?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, I thought you did.
Why did you ask him to bring the original copy?
You heard me. The carbon's a strain on my eyes, and I don't want him leaning over me all day, exhaling cheeseburger.
He probably has another copy filed away somewhere.
I'm sure he does. The night of my big triumph, in comes his mother with notes and outlines and copies with the Westport and the Milford Police Department. Hello? Hi, Lottie. How are you? Oh. I don't want to go. I'm working on an idea. It's still in the embryo stage. But maybe Myra might want to go. Hold on a moment. They're going to go see that new French thing at the Fine Arts, too. Come on, I'll drop you off.
No, I don't want to. Not tonight.
No, Myra will pass, too. She's a bit under the weather. Uh-huh. Well, give us a report on it tomorrow, then, okay? Bye. You don't have to stand guard over me all night long. I only kill when the moon's full.
Why did you lie just now? Why didn't you tell them someone was coming to see you?
Is it any of their business? I don't know why I lied. I'm a liar.
The moon was full last night, except for a sliver down at the bottom.
Really? Well, I guess I'll just have to exercise some massive self-control and remind myself that the other copy most certainly exists.
If not for that, Sidney, would you? Could you?
Probably not. I'd chicken out. You know, it's just that writing crimes on paper opens one up to the idea of committing them in real life. Like, having a weapon opens one up to the idea of using it. But seriously, I think Clifford Anderson is gonna go home in relatively safe condition with his big hand or his normal hand wrapped around his manuscript.
I'm sure he'll jump at the chance to work with you. And after that, you'll do a play that's all your own.
Probably.
Maybe you could do something based on Helga Tendler, but not called The Frowning Wife.
The Smiling Wife. A cheerful kind of thriller. Hey, but no, seriously, there's an idea in all of this, don't you think? A little twerp sends a newly hatched play off to a writer undergoing a dry spell. It's a possible opening, isn't it? I mean, if it's really commercial and there's a room full of weapons.
Put it in your notebook.
I will. Pity he's got the title, Death Trap. Well, actually, it was built in 1794, but the hardware store was out of knives. So I backdated it 10 years.
Oh, it's a beautiful house.
The Historical Society had kittens.
Hello.
Ah, my dear wife. This is Clifford Anderson.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Come in. I was beginning to worry.
Oh, watch out for that. You can always tell it off at the Colonial by the visitors' bruised foreheads.
The room you work in.
How'd you guess?
Oh, well, the typewriter? All these posters? Is that the mace that was used in Murderous Child?
Yes, and the knife is from the murder scene. Be careful, it's sharp. The trick one was substituted in Act 2.
in for the kill.
That's right.
I can't understand why that play didn't run.
Critics peeing on it might be the answer.
The train must have been late, was it?
No, Mr. Bull was late. The train was on time.
I had to get gas. And Frank insisted on fondling the spark plugs.
Do you know that Gunpoint was the first play I ever saw? I had an aunt in New York, and I came in on a train to visit her one Saturday by myself, another first, from Hartford. She took me to the matinee. I was 12 years old.
If you're trying to depress me, you've succeeded.
Well, how? Oh, I'm sorry, but, well, that's how I got hooked on Fullers.
Angel Street did it for me. What did you do with the grocery list, you poor wretch? What did you do with it? I was 15.
It sounds like a disease being passed on from generation to generation.
It is a disease. Thrilleritis malignus, the search of the flyest character one-set moneymaker.
Oh, well, I'm not in this to make money. Not that I wouldn't like to have some so I could have a place like this to work in.
You're still an
But that isn't the reason I wrote Death Trap.
You're still an early case.
Well, it's not a disease. It's a tradition. A superbly challenging theatrical framework in which every possible variation seems to have been played. Can I conjure up a few new ones? Can I stall an audience that's been on Angel Street, that's styled M for murder, that's witnessed the prosecution, that's played the murder game?
Thanks for saving me for last.
Well, I was coming to salute.
I'm glad I stopped you.
Well, so am I. I'm a little euphoric about all this.
As well you should be.
Can I get you something to drink?
Oh, yes, please. Do you have some ginger ale?
Yes. Sydney Scotch?
No. I'll have a ginger ale too.
These aren't all from your place, are they?
Oh, God knows, I haven't written that many. Friends give me some, and I like to prowl the antique shops.
Now there's a disease.
And a super excuse for not working. I found this in Ridgefield the other day. 18th century German.
Ooh, it's beautiful.
Oh, by the way, I want you to know I've taken very good care of our spiritual child. Right here.
I've got the original.
Oh, okay. Did you bring all your copies?
Well, it's not in the binder for the Xerox thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got the first draft here, too. There's a scene between Diane and Carlo in Act 1 that I may have been willing to cut out. And the Diane and Richard scene starts early, before they know Carlo's back.
You know, I had a sense there was a Diane and Carlos scene before the murder, right?
Yeah. You see, I thought that the act would run too long, and, well, I have the other scenes right here. I have the outline, which I departed from considerably. I did it the way you suggested, a page per scene, loose leaf, and some lines I jotted down but I never got to use.
Threw away the ones you did as you used them?
Yep.
That's the way I work. You studied the seminar well.
Yeah, well, everything was in the one envelope, so I just grabbed it. And this is part of those two scenes if you'd like to see that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thanks, dear.
You know, it's a 2-hour walk from the train station. I had to leave as soon as we talked.
Really? 2 hours?
Oh, well, I walk longer than that. I'm one writer that's not going to get flabby. You know, I work out with weights every morning. Do you know I came this close to making the Olympic decathlon team?
Really?
Well, maybe this close.
I'll be careful not to mess with you then. I'm on the Olympic slot team. I can fall asleep in any position. Death trap.
Death trap.
Death Trap. It'll be toasted with more than ginger ale someday if Sidney's right about it. And I'm sure he is.
I sure hope so. I toasted it to beer the other night.
Oh, we have some. Would you rather?
Oh, no. That's okay. Thanks. I'm fine.
Darling, you going to do that here?
Yes.
Oh! Do you think I overdid the set description? You know, all the exact locations for each piece of furniture?
The set description? Oh, here. No, it's fine. Couldn't be better. You know, you certainly type beautifully. Electric?
No, I can't see using electric typewriters. If there's a power failure, you can't work.
That's the reason to own one. The problem I find, at least with Zenobia over here, is the second or third carbon looks so muddy you can't even read it. But you don't seem to have that problem.
Mr. Anderson, Sidney has some wonderful ideas for improving the play.
Oh, well, I'm sure he does. I look forward to hearing them.
Darling, can't you do that in the living room?
There's no good work light in there.
I seem to recall a paisley chair with a light bright enough for the engraving of Bibles on pulpits.
It's too bright, and the chair's too low. I'll be quiet.
Darling, this is Clifford's first play, and I'm the first person to read it. I'm sure he'd rather we be alone. Wouldn't you, Clifford? Don't be afraid to say so.
Oh, I don't mind Mrs. Bull being here. In fact, I kind of like it. It makes me feel a little less like I've been summoned to the principal's office.
I'm sorry if I awe you.
Oh, you do? I mean, all those plays you write and the things you say? I never thought of calling my typewriter anything, except Smith Corona.
As long as it answers.
Well, you're welcome to read the play too, Mrs. Bull, if you'd like to.
I would.
You see, I'm curious to know how women are going to react to Diane's decision about the gun.
Sidney told me a little about it at dinner, but he stopped at all the surprises. I don't even know who kills who.
Oh, good. You shouldn't. You see, I think that's the problem with Murderous Child. Well, if you'll forgive me for saying, but... Well, from the opening curtain, it was so obvious that Dr. Mannheim was going to bash poor Teddy, you didn't leave any room for doubt. I mean, the audience should suspect, yes, but they shouldn't be absolutely certain, should they? I mean, doesn't that tend to diminish the suspense?
You may have a point there. You know, I wish you told me that you were interested in Myra reading it. I'd have told you to bring another carbon.
Oh, well, I didn't know she'd be interested, and... Well, anyway, I don't have one.
You don't have another copy?
Well, I thought I'd be Xeroxing the original as soon as I was through.
Well, you're right. In the age of Xerox, you don't need 2 or 3 carbons anymore.
Well, oh, I can give this to Mrs. Brill, and we could pass the pages back and forth, or I could sit next to you.
Let me think a minute. I want to think.
Mr. Anderson, Sidney's bursting with creative ideas about your play. I've never seen him so enthusiastic before. He gets plays in the mail all the time. Finished plays supposedly from playwrights and agents and producers. And he just usually laughs and sneers and says the most disparaging things you could possibly imagine. I know he could improve your play tremendously and turn it into a hit that could run for years and years and make more than enough money for everyone concerned.
Is that what you meant by, I'll be quiet?
Well, I won't be quiet. I'm going to say something that's been on my mind ever since your phone conversation. It's very wrong of you to expect Sidney to give you the fruit of his years and hard-won knowledge without any quid pro quo, as if seminar was still in session.
But he offered to give me some...
And it's very wrong of you to have offered it to him. I am the one in this household whose feet are on the ground and whose eye is on the checkbook. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion to you, Sidney, and I want you to give it your grave and earnest and thoughtful consideration. Will you do that for me, Sidney? Will you promise to do that for me?
Oh, yes.
Put aside the play you're working on. Yes, put aside the play about Helga Tendorf and how she finds murderers and keys under clothes dryers. Put it aside and help Mr. Anderson with his play. Collaborate with him. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I think is the fair and sensible and rational thing to do in this situation. Death Trap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Bruhl. Unless, of course, Mr. Anderson feels, in deference to your age and reputation, it should be the other way around.
Well, that's a very interesting idea. Put aside the drowning wife, or...
I thought it was frowning.
No, drowning wife is what I'm calling it right now. It's a play with all these woman lib overtones. It's very timely.
It will keep, Sidney. People are always interested in psychics who can point at someone and say, this man murdered that man. Put it aside, Sidney. Do for Mr. Anderson what George S. Kaufman did for you.
Well, that's an interesting idea, Clifford. How does it grab you?
Oh, wow. I mean, I suddenly feel like I'm put on the spot.
You are. Myra's put you there. Myra's put us both there.
I thought it should be said before anything else was done.
Yes, quite right. Quite right. What's your reaction, Clifford?
Well, first of all, I'm dumbfounded and truly honored and staggered that Sidney Broll would even consider the idea of collaborating with me.
We got the gist of this passage. What's your reaction?
It's a golden opportunity that I should seize with both hands.
You should, yes.
But, well, yeah, the thing is, it's like if I went to a doctor, the world's leading specialist, and he recommended surgery. Well, even with my respect for his eminence and his experience, I'd still want a second opinion, wouldn't I? I'm sure your ideas are terrific, Mr. Broll, but you're right, Mrs. Broll. It would be wrong for me to listen to them without some sort of an understanding or an arrangement. And right now, without even having heard them, I think that chap is very good as it is. Oh, it's not perfect, certainly. I guess it could use a little fine-tuning, but, well, I'm not sure it needs surgery. I think what I ought to do is make a couple of copies of the original in the morning and send them out to some of those agents that you recommended to us. And if they too say that it needs some major rewriting, then I'll be coming back here, begging you for the chance to do what Mrs. Bull suggested. And I'd be willing to make any arrangement that you think is fair. The same one that you had with Mr. Kaufman, I guess. I hope I haven't offended you.
Not at all.
Mr. Anderson, please. Agents know about
Myra, don't beg, please. He thinks he has the wealth of the Indies in here. And we're the Mr. and Mrs. Jean Lafitte out to steal it from.
I wouldn't think anything like that, Mr. Bull. I'm grateful that you're willing to go out of your way to help me.
But I'm not, really. Now that I've had a time to think about it, I'd never put an idea as timely as the drowning wife or one as speculative as death trap. Do as you say. Show it around to a couple of the literary agents. If they decide re-rates aren't necessary, give me a call. Who knows? I might hit a dry spot. It's happened once or twice before.
Well, thank you. I will.
Though I doubt I shall. I have the whole outline done, and I've already begun on the dialogue. And I have an idea for another play right after that. One based on the life of Houdini.
Oh.
You know, magic's very in right now. Look at the success of the magic show. Myra, don't sit there hyperventilating. You're making me nervous. You know, Houdini has always been an idol of mine. He made all of his own apparatus.
Sidney?
Myra, sit down. He's an honest young man. You're not the type to steal somebody else's idea, are you?
Oh, of course not.
You see? His heart as far from fraud as heaven from earth. Now, will you sit down and stop being so all-fired suspicious of everyone who walks through the door? Don't take it personally. We had a very nasty experience with another writer a few years ago. Sent off to his creator for repairs, I'm sure, so we won't mention his name. Ever since then, Myra's nervous if I even tell another playwright what language I'm working in. But take a look at these. They're quite impressive.
Yeah, they look so old.
They're made to and apparently escape-proof.
Yeah, they certainly seem that way.
Be my guest.
What? But you mean put them on?
Well, that's what I mean when I hold my prize $1,200 Houdini handcuffs and I say, be my guest. Put them on.
$1,200? Wow.
Now, if you want to get out of them, just turn, twist, and pull. No, you have to do it in one swift motion. Turn, twist, and pull. in one moment.
It's not opening.
It's not because they're not oiled. I oiled them yesterday.
Guess I'm just a Houdini.
Hey, stop fussing with them. You're likely to break them. I know I have to keep some. Oh, please don't break them for $1,200.
I'm sorry.
I know I have a key someplace around here.
You know, this would make a very good thriller. It could, I mean it.
How so?
Well, a young playwright sends his first play to an old playwright whose seminar he attended, and he calls up the older playwright to get some ideas for rewrites. He comes over and brings the original and all his notes and everything. Oh, of course you'd have to have the Xerox breaking down to explain why there's only one copy, and the play would have to be a really good one, the one that the young playwright wrote. And the older playwright would have to have like not much going for him at the time.
An enormous concatenation of unlikely circumstances, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but, well, we've got it almost all here now, haven't we? I mean, the only thing is that you've got that Johnny White playing the Houdini one, and, well, that chap probably isn't worth killing for. I bet nobody even saw me getting into your car.
Yeah, put it up here somewhere.
I think it could be turned into something fairly interesting. What do you think, Mrs. Broll?
I don't like it. It frightens me.
Oh! I forgot to mention, I'm expecting a phone call any minute now. There's a girl that I'm supposed to meet at 8:30, and, well, that's about what time it is now, isn't it? And I couldn't reach her before I left, so I left a note for her on the hall mirror telling her where I am and leaving the number so she could call me and find out what train I'll be taking back so she could pick me up at the station. You know, 1 2-hour walk per day is just about enough for me. So I hope you find that key real soon, or else you're going to have to hold the phone to the ear for me.
How's she going to get in to read the notes?
She has the key.
You're not a very conscientious housekeeper, are you?
She's honest?
You told me in the car you didn't know anybody in Milford except for a few tradespeople.
She's from Hartford. Her name is Marietta Klonowski. She teaches at Quirk Middle School. Phys Ed.
Where did you get the number? It's unlisted.
I got it at the university, along with the number. I'm very friendly with Mrs. Beecham there.
Beecham?
Yes, the short, red-haired lady with the eye shade.
I hope she gave you the right number. We had it changed a few months ago. We were being bored by an obscene phone call. What number did she give you?
I don't remember.
Was it 224-3049 or 224-5057?
The first one, 3049?
Right number. I must have called old U of Con and told them about it without remembering. How unlike me.
Would you go on looking for the key, please?
Okay.
My heart won't take it.
Won't take what? Finding the key? I bet you two thought I was going to do a Dr. Master. You go over the head with a knife. Is that it?
Well, you know, you can't write plays like that and not have a mind that, you know, envisions possibilities.
You're right, I'm slightly paranoid myself. How about you, old loyal and trusting wife? There's a lesson for this, Cliffy. 11 years of marriage, and she thinks I'm capable of committing cold-blooded murder. Here, uncuff yourself. That trap is promising, but not that promising.
Oh, I'm glad it isn't.
Well, I must congratulate you. I really like that invention of yours, Marietta Klonowski.
Thanks.
Though I must say, Mrs. Beecham and the eye shade, that was a bit too much.
I thought it was the kind of convincing detail that you were asking us to strive for. Are you sure this is the right key?
Thank God. Houdini opened them under 10 feet of water. Are you telling me that you can't? Well, score one for neatness. Got him right on the rug. Andy, looks like your heart made it.
Barely.
We'll give it a rest on the Riviera. Once the money starts rolling in, we'll get a housekeeper and a new car. Goddamn rolls.
We're going to be arrested!
I don't see how. Some twerp walked away from a house-sitting job the police won't even bother to yawn.
Leaving his clothes and his typewriter?
Who knows about the would-be playwrights these days? Maybe he realized he wouldn't be and went off to preach ecology. Joined the Reverend Sun Young Moon.
What are you going to do with him?
I'm gonna bury him in the vegetable patch. Be easier to dig there. It's a full moon, all right. I hope this doesn't get to be a habit. Your friends are gonna see you living off of my money. Won't that surprise them? Come, give me a hand with him, Myra. Myra, give me a hand with him. It's already done. I don't want her. And thank God he wasn't the fat one. Make mine a double, I got a bit of a chill. Along with backache and blisters and little devils poking me with their pitchforks. Murderous child, I had Dr. Mannheim buried 30 in 45 minutes. I'll know better next time. We're out one hearthrug, but I saw a few in the Yield House the other day. What? You gonna give me a speech? Why don't you wait a second? Let me pour yourself a drink.
I had intended to. I've learned something in 11 years of melodrama.
Good girl. Go.
I'd be very happy living off of your money, but I don't relish the thought of living off of his. I try to understand it, bearing in mind your disappointments and embarrassment in our financial situation. But I can't. And how will you be able to feel like a winner when we'll both know it's his play? I can't understand that either. You're alien to me, Sydney, and it can't only be since 5 o'clock this afternoon. You must have always been very different from the person I thought you were. I don't think the police are going to be as unconcerned as you do, so I don't want anything to happen that will look suspicious if they come to question us.
Why should they be suspicious? He vanished in Milford. This is Westport.
They'll check into his past associations. He must have gotten your number from the university, even if he did lie about it.
So what? He sent me a twerpy little letter if they come and ask. That's what I'll tell them. He sent me a twerpy little letter, and I answered it. Maybe I didn't.
In a month or so, if we haven't been arrested, I want you to leave. We'll have a few arguments in people's living rooms. You can write them for us. Little tips about money or something. And then you'll move out. I wish you could take the vegetable patch with you. But since you can't, you'll buy it from me. Before the Rolls Royce and before the Riviera. You'll buy the vegetable patch and the house and the whole 9.3 acres. We'll get Buck Raymond or Moriesha to set a fair price.
Darling, you had a shocking...
Stay away from me.
You had a shocking and terrifying experience. So have I. I'm terrified of the idea of being caught. And I'm crapping in my pants. Listen, neither of us are ourselves. Let's wait a few days. This isn't the time to talk about anything. Let's wait a few days. We're ourselves again.
You are yourself right now, and so am I. In a few days... Go ahead. He wrote me a twerpy letter, officer.
It's Laddie and Ralph, and I'm coming to yammer about the play.
It's probably Helga Tendor.
It's Laddie and Ralph. We gotta let them in. You feel up to this? Maybe you should go upstairs.
Oh, no. I'll stay here and let you worry that I'll fall apart.
Who is it?
I am your neighbor from House of McBain. Please, will you let me come in? It's most urgent I speak to you. I called the information, but the lady will tell me not your number. I am Brenda Paul Wyman. I must speak to you. Please, let me come in.
Come in. Laddie, come in. Come in.
I apologize for so late I come. But you will understand after I do the explaining. Yeah, it's room I see. Seats and windows like so. And the pain.
Neither of us are feeling up to snuff this evening.
Just as I see them. Why keep you such pain-covered things?
They're souvenirs from my plays. I'm a playwright.
Sydney Rule. Your woman tells me.
My wife.
We make book together.
My wife, Myra.
How do you do?
What pains you, dear lady?
Nothing, really. I'm fine.
Oh, something you see pains you. Who tells you of me?
Yes, he did. As a matter of
I am Helga Tendor! I am psychic!
I didn't want him to get together for dinner.
4 hours now. I feel the pain. From here. When begins the Mark Griffin show? I am on it next week. You will watch.
Myra, make a note of that in the pad there.
Thursday night. Peter Hart goes also. Now what they want him for, I do not know. I call the information and I ask her, please give me number. And she say, do not have number. So then I call Paul. But he is not at home. He is in place with red walls, eating with chopsticks. So then I call the information. And I say, I am Helga Tendor! I am psychic! And she say, guess number! But all I could see idea.
What will?
The drink you would give me must keep unclouded the head. Only when I see too many images do I get drunk. It was used by two beautiful dark-haired women. Many times, but only pretending.
That's amazing. That's from my play Murder Game. It was used by a beautiful actress.
Will be used again by another woman, not in play, but because of play, dagger is used again. You must put away these things.
I will. I'm going to sell the whole collection.
Maybe too late. Do not enjoy to make unhappy people. But I must speak when I see something. Yeah?
Well, I don't know. You're supposed to be resting. You could keep quiet. You're not in your own country.
Yeah, but I must speak. This is why God gives gift. There is much danger to you and to you. Something in this room that carries death. Yes. Death trap. Is this word in English? Death trap?
That's the name of the play that I'm working on.
Sits in his chair and speaks of Diane.
This is Diane in the play. And I act out every part, try to make it feel authentic.
It's two other people. No? One person, small, black. Smith Colonna, is there a black person in this play with the name Smith Colonna?
Never heard of it.
Much confusion here. Nothing else comes.
You know, we're going to be very Japanese from now on, Myra. Shoes off at the door.
Man in boots, young man, will come and attacks you right here in this room.
Attacks me?
With one of those. Comes as friend to help you, to work with you, but attacks.
Well, we're going to be on the lookout for a young man with boots, that's for sure. Right, Myra?
Two things I am certain. Dagger will be used again by another woman not in play. And man in boots will attack you in this room.
Well, that's a very impressive demonstration. You know, I've had my doubts about ESP, but I am really impressed.
It's genuine. Sometimes had a happy gift to be young about.
Have you always had it?
Since I was a child.
Really?
When playing hide and seek. Never could I play. Was too easy, you understand. My parents never wrapped Christmas gifts. Why waste paper? And when walking with boys and my teenagers, what images. When child, you are living in large house with yellow shutters?
That's right, yes.
When moon is full, I am in top form. Huh?
Won't you have that drink now?
No, thank you. I must go back to my house now. You will have dinner with me sometime.
Yes.
I will tell you all my life. You will make very good play. Pain is less now, yeah?
Yes.
Well, goodbye then.
Good night.
We'll keep our eye out for young men with boots and a little black men
Be
with
careful.
Smith Colonna.
And you too.
Thank you.
Remember, Thursday night, Murph Griffin Show.
Good night. Well, if that's the best she can do, you've got nothing to worry about.
You're not afraid of the danger she saw.
Not especially.
We're going to be arrested.
I can't see why, if the police do get involved because of her, which I doubt, they're gonna have her chasing the tri-state area for a small black man with a spool of ribbon going through one ear and out the other.
She saw him sitting there. She heard him speaking.
But she had all the main points backwards. Believe me, there's nothing to worry about.
Sell the collection.
I will. But not right away. It'll be suspicious. Though I must say, it's amazing how Tanya's aura still permeates through the night.
Put it away somewhere.
I will. Exit dagger into desk.
Part of me was hoping you'd do it. As terrified I was that you would, part of me was hoping. I saw the money too and your name.
Don't think about kicking the old boy out yet. It's just I couldn't help myself. I saw the young man going off into the world with a promising plate. I had to do something. Don't worry. It's going to work out. Okay? Let me turn in now. Could it be murder?
She's dead. It worked. We did it.
I can't see why not. He's had attack over much less than that. Let me tell you, styrofoam hurts.
Hey! You know, that strangling wasn't a jolly experience. How about that Helgeton door? I almost had a heart attack myself up there.
Me too.
It was spooky the way she saw I was going to attack you.
Yeah, with one of those. It must have been one of our confusing images. Sad you knows. Actually, it's good that she came by. This way, she'll tell everybody that she felt the pain. Not that we need any reinforcement, but every little bit helps.
Well, I guess I better go get my things.
All right. Don't walk around too much. You're going to shed dirt, but don't go just yet. We don't want the ambulance to have any miracles of resuscitation, do we?
Hey, what if 10 drop them?
I can't see why the pain has stopped.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
I don't know what to do with this. It'll take too long to burn.
Oh, I haven't bothered. They're just old manuscripts.
We could use it as scrap paper, but that's so chintzy.
You know, I think we'll put my desk right here.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, don't tell me. I get to work up in the maid's room.
Would I do that to you? You get to work here, just as I promised. I bet you were happy to hear about the dagger line.
Was that for my benefit?
Yes, I was afraid that she'd spook you off and you'd go running off into the woods, leaving me with a live wife, an imaginary corpse, and no surefire thriller to justify one to the other.
Oh, I'd never have done that.
Well, still. I know. I'll tell him that I was cleaning out my files when the Grim Reaper struck.
Ah, the closer you stay to the truth, the better off you are.
Oh, aren't you a font of holiness? You know what? You may as well get your stuff up. I'm going to call the doctor now.
Okay. I'm ready to get to work.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do an idea on ESP, too. I mean, despite the mistakes, that was a very impressive demonstration.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, just before I left my office, that there's a story there in a typical urban welfare office.
A thriller?
No, the truth is, I kind of got tired of thrillers. I want to do something more honest, more relevant.
Well, even though you use those words, Clifford, I'm still going to let you work here. Go on, get your bags. Let me call the doctor.
Right.
Hello? This is Sidney Gruel. My wife Myra's had an attack. A bad one. No, there's no sense in that. Okay. I'll wait for the doctor's call. 224-3049.
All ready?
That's his answering service. He's going to call back in a minute.
When you know it. Well, I guess I'm going to go upstairs and get ready.
Oh, Cliff, look. The floor up there, it creaks really badly. So after you take your shower, just hop into the bed and wait, okay?
I'll buy that. Ciao.
Ciao. Hello? Yes, it was a bad one. I tried giving her mouth to mouth, but there was nothing there. I've been telling her to go to your office for a checkup for the last several weeks, but she said it was only a slight pain.
Oh, it was! Everyone there had a poignant story. They're writing the play of their own accord.
No notes, outline?
This isn't a thriller, Sidney. It's not dependent upon intricate plotting and contrived theatrics. These are real people pouring out their hearts, expressing their hopes and frustrations, their anger at the bureaucracy.
Joseph Papp will have a messenger any minute.
Ooh, I was thinking about him as a possible producer. Do you know him?
Yes. Mind if I have a peek?
Oh, well, sure, no, but I'd really rather, have the whole draft done, give you the whole thing in one glorious bundle. Do you mind?
What's another hour or so?
Oh, it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks, I think.
You'll have a trilogy by then.
No luck, huh?
Nah, I'm just thinking.
Why don't you invite her over? 10 door. Maybe it'll help spark something.
Do you think we should risk having her over?
Well, maybe not when the moon is full, but any other time, why not? Look at that egg she dropped on the Merv Griffin show.
That was so funny when Peter Herko started describing all her husbands in such detail.
Belle Forrester called. She wanted to know if she could come bring a casserole or come sew a button. I told her we were managing just fine.
Don't bother, we don't want to disturb the flow. Hey, Porter! How good are you?
How are you, sir?
Doing fairly well, thanks.
There are a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Am I disturbing you?
Not at all, glad to take the break. How come you're not in the city?
Have to be in New Haven this afternoon. Ah, the secretary.
Yes.
My, what a fast typist.
He is, isn't he? Here, come and meet him. Clifford, this is my friend Porter Milgram. I'd say my attorney, but then he's going to start charging me.
I'm going to. This is a business call, partly at least. How are you?
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Cliff was at the seminar I gave last summer. And when Myra passed, I knew I'd need some help, so I gave Cliff a call. He was here the next day.
Have typewriter. We'll travel.
That was very good of you.
Oh, it's a privilege to be of help to someone like Mr. Brown.
Will you look at that? Isn't this a beauty?
Partner's desk.
Where did you find it?
I ended up in Wilton. I found it last week. Makes a lot more sense than having two desks cluttering up the place.
Cost a pretty penny, I'll bet.
That's deductible.
They can't very well quibble about a writer's desk, can they? Wait till Elizabeth sees this.
Hey, how is she?
Fine.
The girls?
Couldn't be better. Kathy loves Vassar.
And vice versa, I'm sure.
Shall I go get the groceries? Then you and Mr. Milgram can talk in private.
Do you mind?
I'll have to do it sometime before dinner. Might as well.
Boy, I'll be right with you.
Take your time. I haven't started the clock yet.
I'm sure you will.
I love this room.
Isn't it pretty? I just love working here.
He's looking well.
Oh, yes. He's improved quite a bit in the past few days. It was pretty bad the first week. He cried every night. I could hear him plainly. And he was drinking heavily. But his work is a great solace to him.
Well, I'm sure it must be. I've always envied my writer clients on that account. I tried to play once.
Oh?
About the Supreme Court justice I most admire. But even the title was a problem. Oh, Frankfurter.
Oh.
20 enough?
Oh, that's too much. I'm only going to get salad things and milk. I'm going to Gibson's.
Get some yogurt while you're at it. Anything but prune.
Right. Oh, you're not in the driveway, are you?
No, I pulled over on the side.
Oh, well, see you later. Or see you next time, whichever it turns out to be.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again. Was he, young fellow? Good looking, too.
Yes, he is, isn't he? You think he's gay? You know, homosexual.
I know what homosexual means, Sidney. I know what gay is. Elizabeth told me a long time ago. No, he didn't strike me that way.
I have a sneaking suspicion he might be, but it's none of my business.
Well, in essence, he's a domestic employee. And in such circumstances, his sexual preference could be a legitimate matter of concern.
Porter, I wasn't asking for a legal opinion. I mean, it's none of my business.
Oh, in that case, no, it isn't.
On top of that, people would talk if I had a female secretary here.
Yeah, if you're underage.
So, that's why I called Clifford.
I'm glad to see you looking so well, Cindy. I was delegated by Elizabeth, the Wessons, the Harveys. That young man has been discouraging all callers, and we were afraid that you were in worse shape than he was letting on. But obviously, that's not the case.
Well, it's just that I haven't been up and seeing people. But I'll tell you you this, the work's a solace for me.
Oh, what are you on to now?
I'm working on something on ESP. You know, Helga Pendor is staying at the McBain cottage.
Yes, I do know. Tell me, is it true what everyone's saying that... You don't mind talking about this, do you?
No.
Is it true she actually pointed to the spot on the floor where Myra was going to fall?
No, it wasn't like that at all. She came in and she said, "Oh, the pain! And Myra said, "There's slight pain." And she said, "Well, still, with your history, you should call a doctor." Which is what I was telling her for weeks.
It's uncanny to be able to sense things that way. I'm sure you'll be able to write quite a fine thriller on the subject.
It's coming along. Business time.
Yes. The first item on the agenda is your will. Now that Myra's gone, you ought to look it over. As it stands right now, if anything should happen to you, your cousins in Vancouver would inherit. Is that the way you want to leave it?
I don't know. Let me think about it.
Dude, don't put it off. And here's the second thing, Sidney. It's only approximate because I don't have the up-to-date appraisals on the real estate yet. But that's roughly what you can anticipate. Give or take a few $1,000s.
I didn't realize there'd be this much.
The Myra must have been keeping a few secrets. She knew. Her records were in apple pie order.
How much of this is the government going to take?
Not too much, really. The first $250,000 of that is exempt from federal taxes. And the state tax, which starts at $50,000, is only a few percent. There's one more point, Sidney. I was talking to Maury Escher at the planning board meeting last night, and he told me that you were speaking to him about selling off a few acres.
I don't think I will now.
You can't. Not yet anyway. You'll have to wait until the will goes through probate.
I know that. I was just asking Maury what he thought the land would be worth.
Oh, then he was jumping the gun, not you. I wanted to make sure you were clear on the point. Well, end of business. You've gotten off cheap.
Yes, I'm lucky.
So, what's the procedure? You dictate and he types?
No, I do the first drafts, he does the retypes, he also answers my letters.
Is that what he was working on before? Letters?
No, a play of his own. Why do you ask?
I hope he's not stealing your ESP idea. Have you discussed it with him?
Yes. What makes you say that?
He locked what he was working on in his desk drawer. Unobtrusively. But I noticed. Then again, maybe he's afraid you'll steal his idea.
The trials and tribulations of a welfare office?
Oh, he's worked in a welfare office?
That's where he was before I met him.
May only be force of habit then. People who work in large offices often tend to lock their desks.
Unobtrusively? I don't think so. I think it'd be more like, "Hey, look, everybody, I'm locking my desk."
It's probably just his way of doing things. I didn't mean to worry you. He's probably exactly what he seems. An honest, helpful, trustful young man, completely trustworthy. I better get moving on if I'm going to get to New Haven by this afternoon. Luncheon at Old Eli.
Oh, have a martini for me, okay?
Oh, I definitely will. Has the check from the insurance company come yet?
No, it hasn't.
I'll write them a letter first thing in the morning.
Please do. Thanks.
Take care, Sidney.
Give my love to Elizabeth.
I will.
And the girls. Ow! Damn! Damn! so soon.
I only went to get things.
Hi, I'll put it away.
Oh, that's okay, I don't mind.
Ah, you shopped, I'll put it away. Go back to the welfare office.
Oh, the change is in here. Oh, the avocado's supposed to be organic.
Whitney, could you come here a second?
Just a minute. Where are you?
Cliff?
Hey, wait!
Oh, I didn't know if you heard me, so I came around. Could use your Olympic fingers.
Beer now?
I had a sudden craving, as they say in the commercials. Here.
They have openers for these, you know.
Really?
Yes, can't you see?
Who do they expect to read this? Cockroaches? So you lost your interest in thrillers, eh? No stomach for the intricate plotting and the planning.
Uh-huh.
Tired of the glib, superficial character.
Hey, will you lay off already? Your idea will come.
Possibly.
Look, why don't you just relax and try not to bug me?
Death Trap. A thriller in 2 acts. Julian Crane, Willard Peterson, Inga Van Brunt. The play opens in the Crane home in Westport, Connecticut.
You have one hell of a nerve stealing my...
Setting! Julian Crane's study is a handsomely converted stable grafted onto an authentic colonial house. Doors upstage center, open onto a foyer, which is the house's front door, entrances to the living room and kitchen, and the stairway to the second. French. Downstage left is a fireplace, practical to the extent the paper can be burned in it. The room's furnishings are tastefully chosen antiques. A few chairs, occasional pieces, a buffet downstage right, with liquor decanters and other assorted things. Oh, and in the center of the room, Julian's desk. You remember Julian's desk, don't you? The one he worked at before he invited crazy Willard Peterson into the home. The furnishings are rounded off by theatrical posters, unlike these, which are window cards. And the rest of the furnishings are weapons, maces, knives, guns. Several of which I'm going to use any minute now.
Is that it? You're not going to act out the 11 pages? Would you like me to explain?
What's to explain? You're a lunatic with a death wish. Freud covered it thoroughly.
I have exactly the same wish you have, Sidney. A success wish.
This is going to give you success?
Well, it hit me that night. Remember? I put in that little extra bit while you were looking for the keys. It could be a terrific thriller.
The house madman is writing a play that'll send us both to prison, and he calls that success. Would you define success to me? Is it being gangbanged in the state penitentiary?
You see, I knew you would have reservations about this. That's why my first impulse was to not even say that it was a thriller. I didn't enjoy putting you on Sidney like this, but, well, I'm glad it's out in the open.
You knew I'd have reservations?
Well, you do, don't you?
I'm sitting here terrified, petrified. I'm crapping in my pants. And he calls that having reservations.
No
I'm not going to use one of these on you. I'm going to beat your head in with a Roger Thesaurus if I can find one.
No one can prove what did or did not cause Myra's heart attack. How can they?
Oh, and what do you say to the man from the New York Times when he asks you, didn't you go work for Sidney Brule at the same time that his wife
No comment.
Myra had a fatal heart attack?
I say no comment.
Comment.
Look, I know it's going to be a little bit sticky, but, well, everybody's coming out with everything these days. On paper, on TV, why not on stage? As long as it can't be proven, who cares? I've given it a lot of thought, Sidney, and I think it'll help the play. Give it an added dimension of intriguing gossip.
Oh, I'm sure you're right. I can see the box in the New Yorker magazine now. Tongues are wagging about similarities between the new hit Death Trap and the lives of its authors, Clifford Anderson and Sidney Brule, who committed suicide on opening night. When queried, Mr. Anderson said, "No comment." Well, I have a comment. No, absolutely not. I have a reputation around here. Tattered, yes, but still good for dinner reservations and conducting summer seminars. I want to live my life out as Sidney Brule, author of The Murder Game, not Thad, who knocked off his wife. Oh, look, a fireplace. Let's see if it is practical to the extent that paper.
Don't come there today! You burn that, and I'll go rent it someplace else. I'll get a house sitting job. Give it to me, Sidney. Give it to me. I helped you kill for the chance to become what I want to be, and you're not going to take it away from me. I hope that when you saw the finished product that you would get over your Angel Street uptightness and pitch in. Well, I guess we can forget about that.
Collaboration.
Well, it's mostly your idea, isn't it? I'm not trying to pretend that it's all my baby. I know that Act 1 is coming out a little heavy and stilted. I hope that we could be a team. Roland Anderson.
Rogers and Heartless.
See, now I could never come up with something like that.
Cliff, I'm sorry. I don't want to collaborate on my own humiliation. Thanks very much.
Next season's hit. Don't say I didn't warn you. I think maybe I better move out anyway.
Why?
Well, when Helga Tendorf said that a woman would be using a dagger because of a play, maybe she wasn't that far off target.
Don't be silly. I wouldn't hurt you. I love you. Anyway, you'd break my neck.
You're damn right I would.
So don't talk about leaving.
I don't know. I wouldn't be happy about it if you weren't comfortable.
I'll whistle a lot. You know, maybe I am being too uptight about this.
You are. Jeez, who cares about anything?
I could use the royalties of a good hit.
I think there's a movie in it too.
Porter went over the estate figures with me. There's only $20,000, and the government's going to take half of that. There's the land and the house, but I can't sell that for 2 years. What am I going to live on?
Oh, wow.
The insurance money isn't that much.
The offer's still open.
I'll do it. I'll blush all the way to the bank.
Really?
Roland Anderson.
Oh, great. We'll make it Wilton, not Westport.
Leave it, Westport. The hell with it.
Jesus, just think. Me, Clifford Anderson, collaborating with Sidney Bro.
That's from Act One.
You know, Act Two's gonna be a bit of a problem.
How so?
Well, we have a murder in Act One. 2 murders, in fact. Act Two's liable to be a letdown.
Not necessarily.
Oh, we'll bring in an inspector. I was thinking of the Connecticut version of the one in Dial M.
Hubbard. Inspector Hubbard.
Yes. Oh, and Inga Van Bronk. A good comic character like that, it would be silly not to make the most out of her.
You go work on Act One. And let me think about Act Two.
Mr. Brule is on! Help get them doors!
Hello, Mr. Bulls is here right now. Why don't you come in?
He walked through wood. There's less to walk.
Well, he should be back any minute.
You are?
His secretary, Clifford Anderson.
I am Helga Dendor! I am psychic!
I know. Mr. Bull told me all about you. He told me that you predicted his wife's death.
Yeah. Was much pain. From here. Such a nice lady. Very sad. Ah! This room! He is well, Mr. Brule?
Yes, he only went out to dinner. He said he'd be back around 10, and well, it's around 1:15 now.
A big storm. Much rain, wind, and lightning and thundering. Trees will fall!
You really think so?
Yeah, like on radio. I want to borrow candles. Do you have any in-house?
Candles, well, I haven't seen any, but I'm sure there's some around somewhere. Why don't you take a seat?
Well, thank you. You wear boots!
Yes, everyone does these days. They're very comfortable.
You are longtime secretary to Mr. Brule?
Well, for the past 3 weeks, after his wife died, I helped him, and why don't I go get those candles for you?
What a boy.
Oh, Mr. Baru! Hello! Helga Dendor is here!
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Brule.
Good evening, Helga. Did you receive my note?
Yeah, thank you.
Yours was most kind. And the flowers, how thoughtful.
Oh, Mrs. Dendor came for some... Mrs. Dendor came for some candles. She said that there's a storm coming.
Yeah, Myra used to keep them in the kitchen. Above the refrigerator.
Man, I warn you of. Man in boots who attacked you in this room.
We forgot about that. Since Myra's death.
Is he? Candles are not why I come. There's much danger in this room. You should not have him here.
I'm gonna get rid of him tonight. I mean, give him his notice at least.
Ah! It's his? Smith Corona?
Yes.
Just as I see. Black man's face. 40 of 'em. You should send this man away tonight.
I will. At least give him his notice. I talked about it with my lawyer this evening. He shares my idea.
Should not happen here. There's much danger. To you. Much danger. You should not have him here. You should send him away.
I will. Oh, Clifford.
Well, thank you. I will take 2.
Take more. We've
No,
got plenty.
2 are enough. That is my torch.
Aren't you afraid that going through the woods will be too dark?
No. I have torch. And I will walk through wood, which makes it less for me to walk.
Well, good night.
Well, good night.
Good night.
I should stay.
No, it's all right. Thank you. What is it?
My daughter is pregnant. So many years they try, so many doctors they go to. And she finally makes me grandmother. Ah, I must call and tell them. Good
She told you that I'm the man in the boots that attacks you?
Yes.
Did you tell her that I used a fake weapon, not one of those that up there?
No, I didn't think that was advisable. What I told her was that you were teaching me karate. And as a result, we were hitting each other a lot. How you doing on Act 1?
I finished it.
Well, your evening was better spent than mine, that's for sure. Let me see what you have.
It ends with Julian at the phone.
How am I going to live without her?
Well, he wants to convince the doctor that he's upset, doesn't he?
Well, your dialogue may be a little Tin Pan Alley, but your timing couldn't be better. I've just about finished Act 2, at least for 2 bits of business, that is.
Oh, great.
Why don't you go upstairs and close the windows? I think we're going to get Hurricanes Alice through Zelda.
What are those 2 scenes?
I'll tell you about it when you get down here, but I will tell you there's 3 scenes. I like that sort of symmetry.
Windows all closed.
Great. Now here are the bits of business.
What are they?
Willard spilled the beans to our Connecticut version of Inspector Hubbard. Hubbard goes down to Julian Crane to beard him in his den. Julian's very berserk at this moment. He grabs a gun. He shoots the inspector in the arm. There's only 1 bullet. Julian, in a frenzy, goes running upstage to try to get one of these weapons. Now, the question we've got to find out, can a fit inspector, even though he's wounded in 1 arm, stop a middle-aged playwright? The answer better be no. Me, Julian, you, Hubbard.
Left arm out of commission.
That's right. Ready? That's not very very convincing. Let's try it.
I thought that was pretty convincing.
Not even to a theater party. Ready? Maybe I should be hovering.
I was afraid I'd rip your shirt.
Clifford, we want to make theatrical history here. Let's not let a $10 shirt get in the way.
Oh, can't we just let the director and the actor
No! That's not the way professional does it, dum-dum. A professional playwright works out the bit of business to make sure that they're credible. Now, let's show them why Brule and Anderson are going to make theatrical history, all right? You ready? Let's go. Voila, it works.
Oh, yeah, look at your shirt. And mine. Oh, I cut your neck.
Don't worry about it. I'll fix it later. Now for the second bit of business. Julian gets upstage and he grabs that axe. Go grab it. You be Julian, I'll be Hubbard now. It doesn't look natural. Try it the other way.
It doesn't feel comfortable this way.
You gotta go back to the way you had it. That's good. Now, put it down on the floor. We've got goodbyes to say, Cliff. The end of Death Trap. Theater verite now. You see, I really don't want that play written. I'm a little too old and a little too, yes, uptight to join the Washington secretaries and the happily hooked and the White House interns into the National Bad Taste Exposition. And I'm afraid there's no way that I can think of that'll keep you from locating me in a centrally located booth. So I talked to Porter a few days ago, telling him about the unease I've had with you lately. And he checked your police records in Hartford. And he found those blemishes, the ones we talked about. So we talked about it over dinner tonight, and he said that I should give you your notice, which I did. You became abusive. So I ran up and got my gun, for which I have a license for. Well, you know the rest. I'm out of dialogue. Your go.
What can I say? I'm not gonna beg.
Oh, I thought you'd tell me that you'd become a steam filler or something.
Would you believe me?
Not especially.
So? I'm hoping you'll take pity on a pretty face.
Cliff, the truth is, if you hadn't succumbed to thrilleritis malignancy, what is truly one of the worst cases on record, we could have been the writing team of Brule and Anderson. But for now, I guess we'll just have to be cool. Say goodbye, Cliffy.
Goodbye, Sydney. I thought a clip would be anticlimactic. So I bought blanks this morning, but I got the real bullets for this one. Sit down, dum-dum. Sit down.
What are you going to do?
Peripetia? Reversal? It was the first lesson you gave us in our seminar. Important element in all drama, you said. Put that down. You see, the problem was, I had this terrific first act, but I couldn't think of a second one. Very frustrating, especially as I'm having room and board with the grand old master himself, author of The Murder Game and of In for the Kill, which I consider an even more elegant construction.
Well, so do I, for that matter.
At present, yes. Be my guest.
You mean put them on?
That's exactly what I mean. So there I am with this problem. Sydney's not going to help me with it. This I know from square one. Sydney uses 3 kinds of deodorant and 4 kinds of mouthwash. Not for him the note of scandal. But is there maybe some way that I can harness that 17-jewel mind and set it to work for me all unwittingly? So I begin typing Act 1. And every day, I inconspicuously lock my desk. So inconspicuously, in fact, that for a day and a half, smart Sydney doesn't notice. But dull old Porter comes in, thank God, and saves me the embarrassment of having to get heavy-handed and leave a loose page lying about.
Bastard.
Oh, would you mind saying that into the microphone? So there we are. Roland Anderson. I type, Sydney thinks. I don't get much sleep. Last week, for instance, I didn't get any wink with all that tiptoeing that was going on. So thank you for Act 2. No, Inspector Hubbard. Julian's lawyer is the 5th character.
Sounds a little, unsatisfying.
Oh, yeah?
Act 3?
Act 1. Julian discovers that Willard is writing the real death trap about Doris's murder. With the names changed, of course. And he pretends to collaborate with Willard, but gets old Peter Pilgrim to check up on him, knowing full well that there are false and unfair charges to be found. Scene 2. Julian sets up Willard for what will look like murder and self-defense, getting him to enact bits and pieces for the play. Oh, that's beautiful, Sidney. And I never would have thought about it. I'm really in your debt. Julian shoots Willard, who's basically an innocent kid Julian led astray.
Little shit.
The next moment, Helga, played as Inga Van Brunt, comes in with Porter. She was getting bad vibes all night. They met at Doris's funeral. Willard lives just long enough to confess about himself and Julian and Doris's murder. Julian shoots himself in the head. Curtain.
No Act 3?
What for? They're both dead. The play's over.
It sounds a little unsatisfying. Maybe I can help you with a draft.
No, I'll manage to fill in the holes. And now, I'm going to pack my things and call a cab. I'm taking any money that I find up there. When the cab gets here, I'll give you the key. If you tell anybody that I hassled you in any way or stole anything, you're going to open up a very messy can of peas. Hey, look at this. We have a little bit of Angel Street here. Hey, maybe I'll find some rubies upstairs. See you anon.
Oh, Cliff, those were the Houdinis. Hang in there, Connecticut lights. A little longer, girl. Hello, police? This is Sidney Brule at Rabbit Hill Road. You've got to send a car right away. I just killed my secretary. He came at me with an axe. But that's not the crazy part. You're gonna think I'm drunk. But I killed him with a medieval crossbow. No, I'm not kidding. It's all I had. So come quick, come and investigate. Bring a flashlight. Brule, Sidney Brule, B-R-U-H-L. Oh, how nice of you to say so. All right, come quick. His name was Clifford Anderson. Ah!
She died of a heart attack.
They make it to happen. Pain she feels is that she sees Brew kill Boy.
Now hold on a minute. The boy did...
Quiet! Brew shows her play from Boy. Good play. Boy comes. Brew kills. Around neck, tight to take play. She helps him carry Boy out. Pain brings me, but now I am gone. And Boy is from grave. He comes with love. No! No! Please! I'm trying to stop! She dies!
My God! A fake murder to bring about a real one. Are you sure that's what happened? I thought it was strange. The boy stepping in on such short notice.
Was no play.
There wasn't?
But now, Boy writes it. All they had done. Rule discovers.
I saw the boy locking his drawer.
He's afraid, Brule. Play will bring shame.
A play about them killing Myra? I'll bet he was afraid.
Tends to help. Or tricks Boy to take acts. For play. And shoots with gun. Yeah, but it's no bullets. Boy has tricked him. To make more of play. Chains him, will go, but chains come apart.
The Houdini said.
Shoots Boy with arrow on stairs.
And drags him in and puts him by the axe.
Burns play.
The ashes in the fireplace.
Calls police.
And while he was speaking,
Boy pulls arrow from chest. And attacks just as I saw 4 weeks ago.
my God, what a story! It's better than the murder game.
You are thinking it could be play?
It has the feel of one, doesn't it? Everything happening in the one room? 5 characters?
Death Trap.
Say, that's a catchy title. I can never write Frankfurter, but maybe I can write Death Trap.
Yeah. I see theater. Inside, much applause. Outside, long line of ticket buyers, shivering in cold.
My goodness, that's encouraging.
But it's my idea.
Your idea? How can you say that? It was Cindy's idea, and the boys. They lived it.
But if I not tell you, you not know.
That's true, I can't deny that. And you have supplied me with a title, which I may or may not use.
We share money half and half.
Are you serious? I'm gonna go home and work nights and weekends for months. Maybe even give up my vacation. All you've done is come in here and touch the furniture for a couple of minutes. If I do, in fact...
If you not share money, I tell about telephone.
Telephone?
You whispered the handkerchief in high voice. Say dirty words to all your friends. For shame and enlightenment. A court lawyer with wife and 2 daughters. No, 3 daughters to make such telephoning.
Oh, you interfering busybody!
Be careful, knife is sharp.
Bitch!
I warn you, for a sword and not a friend.